so much for sticking with us for what is a very special Friends at 5 today, as we are talking about threats that were called into high schools all over the state. I'm Andrea Mock, and we are so happy to have Darcy Strickland in with our students to hear how this is affecting them and what happened on campus today. Darce.
You're right about that, Andrea. We've got 6 students, all high school students from different high schools around the Midlands. We're going to let them introduce themselves in just a couple of minutes, but we're excited to hear from them on the student perspective of what today meant to them.
Well, News 19 has been collecting stories from students that were inside Blythewood High School today. Some say they had to climb through windows and even barricaded doors out of fear that there was, in fact, an active shooter on their campus. One student spoke to News 19 about all the confusion and then the frustration that his classmates were feeling today.
Like, everybody get out of the classroom, and then we get outside and all the police just, you know, you just see the police cars coming all the way through, and then if we get outside, the police say run to the stadium. Put everybody's health in danger. You know, all these students, you got 2,000 students in the school, you can't be doing this just for some fun TikTok challenges.
Very wise words there from a young man, and students and families tell us that they are so thankful that there were no injuries and that they were able to reconnect with their kids tonight, but no doubt everybody feeling shaky. News 19's Nate Stanley is going to have more from those students. We want to hear from them and what they experienced today. That is coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. But like Darcy said earlier, we are so thankful to get to hear from the students themselves. It's a treat for us, and we want to send things over to Darcy and get it in their own words about what a day like today has been like to experience.
Yeah, Andrea, we as parents think we know how our students feel, and as Jennifer Wolf said, sometimes we talk to them about it and we don't really get an answer from them, a clear, concise answer from them, but we know this panel of 6 students are going to talk to us in real terms about what it's like to be a high school student today. So we're going to let each one of you introduce yourself. You're going to say your first name and what high school you're with. We're going to start with you on the back row, Stowe.
Seafloor High School.
Okay, you can pass the mic down.
My name is Ranty, and I go to Hammond School.
My name is Paul. I go to AC Flora High School.
My name is Kathy, and I go to Spring Valley High School.
My name's Samantha, and I go to Blythewood High School.
And we've got another mic, so they'll definitely hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Kaylee, and I go to Richland East High School.
So you 3 ladies on the front row are Richland District 2 students. So Samantha, you are a Blythewood High School student. When you saw what happened today, what did you think?
I was actually not physically there at first. I was actually on a field trip for my teacher cadet class. But the second it happened, I got a lot of phone calls from my friends saying that there is a gun in the school. And at first, I was horrified. I was thinking, oh my gosh, people I know, people I love are going to die today. That was my first thought, and it horrified me.
That's her perspective from a Richland 2 student. Guys in the back, what were you guys thinking? Because, I mean, I know social media moves pretty quickly, so you probably heard about this, even with it not being in your district.
Yeah, I heard about it on like Snapchat, and a couple of my friends in Richland 2 texted me about it, but I didn't really know what was going on until a couple hours ago.
For me, you can kind of like hear it, you know, when you're going around the halls to your classes, you can hear people talking, you know, have you heard what happened at Blythewood? And then you're curious, like, okay, what happened? And then maybe you do some research, maybe you talk to your friends about it, and that's how I figured out. I did some research on it after hearing about something happened at Blythewood. I did research, and that's when I figured out what happened, and it was very tragic, very bad.
I first heard, and I didn't really know what to think, but I assumed that they were real, so I was just like hoping for the safety of all the students and hoping for the safety of everyone there, and that it wasn't real.
So we saw the Snapchat videos, we saw the Instagram videos, and a lot of the videos the kids were saying we thought this was a drill. Do you feel like you guys are maybe becoming desensitized to this type of thing?
Well, I think like with everything that's going on today, that in some ways it's like I hate to say that it's almost normal, because you hear about all these like shootings going around in our nation, and I think our schools and our school district did a really good job of preparing us. You know, we had these like drills, like lockdown drills, and I think that we really have to thank our teachers and our school administrators for really demonstrating strong leadership and teaching us like the correct ways to react in situations like this.
Do you think that this ever will stop happening?
Unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to stop completely. I think it's something that we will have to get used to, but also figure out ways to improve the situation. And I think right now that's up to like our school superintendent, our district administrators. So, yeah.
Does this feel like y'all's norm?
Yes.
It does? Yes. Let me step over here so I can make sure I get you to answer this question for me. Unfortunately, this is your norm.
Yes, it is our norm, sadly, because a lot of times children are being more used to having to deal with shootings and drills rather than actually learning in school.
So how do you deal with that?
Personally, what I like to do is I like to push that sort of image out of my head, like a lot of students might not do, because if I don't personally, I will have a lot of anxiety about, will I see this person the next day? Will I be able to see my family?
I know we as parents look at it differently. You know, we panic every time something like this happens. If you had a message that you could give to parents who are watching tonight, what would, and I'm going to get you to sit next back down this way, what would your message be to the parents? Because we're automatically going to go into protect our child mode. What do you say?
I mean, I think this kind of thing starts with the parents and just adults in general, because the threat of school shootings is such like a big issue nowadays because of how catastrophic the actual school shootings are. And I think it's up to a lot of the adults, many of whom are parents in power, to like pass laws and look into legislation that would prevent this from being such a big issue. So when that it is a hoax like today, it doesn't become like as much of like a threat, or it doesn't instill as much anxiety in people.
What do you think as parents that we can do to better equip you all for a day like this at school?
I feel like the thing we can do is preparation. As this is becoming more frequent and more sadly normal, I feel like the best thing we can do is prepare their kids, so when they get into situations like this, they know how to handle themselves, they know what to do, so they won't immediately go into a sense of panic. They'll be like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and hopefully that will help increase that sense of panic, that sense of fear. Obviously you can't take it all away, but hopefully with these preparations you can at least decrease it a bit.
Still, there's going to be a parent who's looking at their child right now and they're going to say, okay, you're going to delete Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. Well, not Facebook, y'all don't have Facebook, but all of the other apps. Is that the right answer?
I don't think that is the right answer exactly. I think as parents, they should be teaching us to properly use social media and to encourage good behavior and not just give into these hoaxes and these threats. And I think that's just, yeah.
More the answer.
Yes.
So not give me your phone and never pick it up again,
yes.
But yeah, let me talk to you about how to do this responsibly. Samantha, excuse me for stepping in front of you. What is school going to be like tomorrow at Blythewood?
I think school is going to be very different. Usually Blythewood has a very good sense of community, and I think because of today we kind of lost that a little bit. It's going to be, the whole atmosphere of the school is going to be a lot different, and not just tomorrow, but I think for months and maybe the rest of the school year.
We heard from some students that you guys had just gone through a drill.
We did. We had just gone through a fire drill, and so we actually have fire drills a lot because of some construction like messing with the things. But when it actually, we're so used to like fire drills happening, then we hear lockdown drills and we're just like, oh my gosh. It's a lot different.
It's a lot different, and it's a lot to handle, and we're super excited, again, as I mentioned at the top of the newscast, to have these 6 young people. They are all student leaders in their respective schools. They're the best of the best, the cream of the crop, and so they're going to continue to talk to us about having this tough conversation with not just your high schooler, but your middle school student, and for some of you, maybe even your elementary school student. So we're going to continue the conversation. If you have questions, we encourage you to text them in 803-776-9508. Even if you have questions for the kids, you guys will answer them for us? Absolutely. All right, we're going to send things back into the studio with Andrea.
Great. Thank you so much, Dar. Certainly, those are some brave kids and very well spoken. Moms and dads, y'all did a good job. And I just have to say, like, as a mom, it absolutely broke my heart to hear Samantha, the student from Blythewood High School, say that what she thought was people I know are going to die today. Makes my voice shake. So I want to bring in certified trauma specialist Jennifer Wolf to talk about those real emotions that our students felt today. How on earth do you start to heal from feeling that?
I don't think it's something you're going to get over. I believe you have to acknowledge the tremendous sadness in this and the fear without allowing fear-based thinking to become all-consuming, because that's not healthy. So it's unfortunate and it's alarming that a young person would say, people that I know and love are going to die today. So we're going to feel that, but yet the challenge is to allow them to express without becoming overwhelmed by what they're expressing. So meeting them where they are, using, say, wow, you know, just being present even when your heart is breaking. And for the kids that feel that, I would say, okay, let's keep it in context, as hard as that is. I heard some in the segment that, you know, the schools are not safe and we have to worry about shootings. It's become the norm. I also think we have to still put it into context and realize there are wonderful days. Those are wonderful kids that have accomplished so much that we can't bend to allowing that type of darkness, fear, whatever you want to call it, to consume and take over all of the blessings and the reasons to be grateful.
I love that
and
thought.
I'll always
of
say that.
Don't give in to the fear thinking. I like that. I'm going to hold on to that as we take a quick break, and we are going to answer some of your questions. Coming back, 803-776-9508. We can be answering your questions from Jennifer Wolf, our certified trauma specialist, when we come back. Keep it here. All right, we have devoted our entire hour today on Friends at 5 talking about these hoaxes that apparently was a TikTok challenge, and many school threats were called in today across the state. So here's a question we have, Darcy. What do these students think should a punishment be for a student that makes a hoax phone call like the ones that happened today? If they can track these students down, what should happen in the student's eyes, Darcy?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. We're going to start with Kaylee. I told them it was going to be a pop quiz because I hadn't had a chance to see the commercial ahead of time, but one of our viewer wants to know, what do you guys think the punishment should be for a student if they find the person responsible for these hoaxes today?
Personally, I feel that this person should be suspended, but also thoroughly looked through, because they may also have issues going on mentally or things that they may not talk about. So I want them to talk about, like, have some person to talk to about that.
Wow, I love that answer. What do you think, Stowe? And then Rancy?
I think that the person who did this should be expelled, because not only were they conscious of doing this and knowing that it was wrong, that there should be nothing short of the proper punishment.
Rancy?
When I was reading about this on the state, I read at one part where the mayor said that the person who was responsible for this should face the full extent of the law, and that's something I do agree with. I feel like they should go through the judicial system as it should and be punished, as a grown person instead of like an adolescent, because this is something very serious. You put a lot of people's like lives at risk. You got people worried and afraid. So I feel like they should be facing that punishment, but I also do feel like someone should teach them what they should do in these situations, because maybe they just weren't aware of what they were doing and maybe just caught up in the whole hype of hopping on a trend. So they should definitely have a space where they can learn what they should do next time and how to better handle themselves.
Great answers. Great answers. We're going to take another break and we'll be right back.
All right, here's what we know. Tomorrow is another day, and no matter how everybody's feeling, we will have to once again pack the book bags and send the kids off to school. So what do we tell them? Jennifer Wolf, our trauma specialist, is staying with us. What do we tell them as we send them off to school tomorrow, Jennifer?
Definitely. Well, I think you are honest with there's going to be a lot of emotions, that it's going to take time, that it's going to be difficult, but they can also focus on what they enjoy, their friendships, those accomplishments that they've worked so hard for. I'd also reinforce support systems, and if they're scared or they're feeling, who do they go to? So build in almost like a support plan as they go back to school, and to tell them it's going to take time. It's not something that we're going to get over, but you are going to get through it, and in time that intensity will lessen. That's what I'd suggest.
Such good advice. Thank you so much. So we will tell them to focus on the positive, Darcy, to find the things that they like in school tomorrow, and to keep remembering that as they go through their day.
And we're going to wrap up with the reason why we even started this tough conversation with the kids, and we're going to let them give their classmates a message.
I think my message would be, when you're at school, just treat everyone with kindness. You don't know what someone's going through. You don't know what their family is going through. And just because you see something that's a trend on any social media platform, it doesn't mean that you have to follow it. Just remember that every single choice you make will affect you in the future, and you should really just consider how it's going to affect your classmates and your family.
And Samantha, as you prepare to head back to Blythewood High School tomorrow, what is your message to your classmates?
To my classmates at Blythewood, I just want everyone to know that they are loved and that they can always reach out to any of our admin if they need to talk to someone, because what happened today was very traumatizing for a lot of students. And I want the community to know that there is such a difference, a big difference between seeing things on social media versus it actually happening to you in real life. And you don't know how bad things are until it happens to you.
Guys, thank you so much. Again, as I mentioned, the best and the brightest across the Midlands joining us today. That's going to do it for Friends at 5, but don't go anywhere. News 19 at 6 is up next.
Thank you for watching News 19.